Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I am going to be bringing you guys a video on the best long-range meta weapons for the Season 3 of Warzone. Now a ton of videos have been out covering on my channel what the close-range weapons are and what the best overall setups are, which do include most of these class weapons and setups for the long range, but I just wanted to go over in a bit more detail what the best long range weapons are and give you guys a couple of alternatives to the CR AMAX, which is pretty much what everybody is running right now. It is for a good reason. The gun is very, very good, but this video is going to offer you some very good alternatives, and that if we do see a nerf to that AMAX coming later in the season, these will be your best options to go to. I will also touch on a couple of other factors that will influence these weapons as we go through the video, so make sure you stay tuned to the end to get all of those tips and tricks under your belt as well. Now before we jump into today's video, if you're not already subscribed, check down below, press that red subscribe button if you're not, as it really does help me out, and I would love to have you here on the channel community. We are pushing for 1.5k subs, so your support would be much appreciated. And if you do go on to enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like. I've covered a ton of Season 3 content, literally tons and tons of it. If you haven't seen it already, go back and have a look on the channel. There's pretty much everything covered almost already, and I'm going to be covering the rest of the relevant stuff in the coming days, so make sure you stay subscribed for that, as it will be worth it. And as I said, if you do enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like, and without further ado, let's jump into today's video. So like I said at the start there, the CR AMAX is by far and away at the moment a fan favourite weapon. That's because people have used it before. It's coming back into meta. We know what it's about, right? So it's going to be a gun that's familiar to a lot of people, and it's getting a ton of playtime, quite rightfully, because it has a ton of damage. Now, the best build for this, I did show it in my previous video, but we'll get it up again here for you guys so that you can see. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out, but I will also show you the builds in this video here as well, so you guys are on top of your form. On the AMAX, we build the Monolithic Suppressor, the XRK Zodiac Barrel, the VLK 3x Optic. Now again, you can put on the red dot if you prefer, but obviously because this is a long range build, the VLK is a very nice long range sight for this, and it works really well, very minimal recoil, so definitely recommend doing that one. We've then got the Commando foregrip and the 45 round mag. This is a pretty standard build for a Modern Warfare weapon, particularly for the CR AMAX. We've seen this a few times, standard build for it, but this thing has got pinpoint laser accuracy, even at very far distances, you know, 70 to 100 meters. You're still getting very good on point shots with this weapon, providing your recoil control is decent, obviously, but far and behold, it's one of the best guns you can have within that range. Once you're getting plus 100, obviously you're going to want that sniper there, but for most of the engagements you have in Warzone, this is going to fare you very well. Pair this with something at the moment like the LC10, the Bullfrog, even the Farah as a close range build. You're going to be doing absolute smashing out bits. You're going to be able to ping people's armor off with this, switch to the close range gun as they're pushing in, and just finish off the kills there with those, and it's going to work really well. It's definitely something you guys want to try. If you've been avoiding the CR for whatever reason, you think it's maybe not as good as the hype is, trust me, try it out. It is definitely worth it. It's a solid weapon, and it will do well for you in this game. Now the next gun we've got here is actually the AK-47 as a long range build. Now I've covered this one in my previous video, again, as both a long-range and close-range build, and the close-range build is very good at the moment, because when it's in close range, you've basically got zero recoil. You're not having to focus on adjusting the aim too much. It's very nice. Now, I won't lie to you guys, the AK at long range has a decent bit of recoil, meaning that if you're not too good at controlling your recoil, I probably would switch to one of the other classes that I'm going to show here today, but if you can control your recoil, it is definitely worth it. It's a solid option, gets a ton of damage out very quickly, and has a huge damage drop off, meaning that you've got to get to a very large distance before you start to see a fall off in that TTK, which is really nice. The build we go with for this one is the GRU Suppressor, the 20-inch Liberator Barrel, the Aerial Axle 3x Scope, because obviously it's a Cold War weapon and not a Modern Warfare one, so that's an important note. I didn't mention that. It's the Cold War AK, not the Modern Warfare one. We've then got the Spetsnaz Grip and the 45 round mag. Now again, with this one you build bullet velocity, while the Liberator Barrel's on there, because Cold War weapons, you just need that little bit extra to compete with the Modern Warfare variants, but this works really well, and it's a ton of fun to use. If you haven't tried out the AK before in Warzone, try out the close range build. It's in my previous video, which will be linked at the end of this video on the end screen, or you can have a look at this class for the long range build here, and this does absolute bits. Just be aware of the recoil, like I said there. Now moving on to the next weapon we've got here, this is actually going to be the Krig 6, again another Cold War weapon, which is really cool, and the Krig 6 has seen a huge damage buff in the latest patch. Basically what happened is the headshot multiplayer was increased from 1.25 to a 1.4, meaning that this gun, with the ADS overhaul it received in Season 2 Reloaded towards the midsection of that season there, is actually a really, really good weapon now, and we're seeing a ton of gameplay from this, and look at this variant, guys. If you've got the Samurai's Creed variant, this looks insanely good. So try it out. It comes with the agency suppressor and it's the scope that you want anyway, which is really, really nice. It keeps the aesthetic going. Looks really, really cool. You want the agency suppressor, the 19.7-inch range of barrel, axle aerial 3x scope, the field agent grip, and the Stanag 60-round mag. Now, again, we're not running the 60 fast mags because that does affect the ADS time. Now, probably you could whack that on if you wanted to, because obviously with it being a long-range weapon, ADS time isn't going to be quite as important, but I just like to have the ability to be a bit more snappy than usual, because you can obviously get the jump on some players with that ability. And then obviously the range of barrel there for that bullet velocity, damage range, really, really good. Makes this build very, very strong. If you haven't tried out the Krig 6 yet, honestly, try this one out. This is absolutely insane this season. Very, very close to compete with the CR. If it had a little bit more damage, it definitely would. And if we're going to see the CR damage nerf like we're expecting to see, this gun I think is going to become the dominant meta for long range, because it is exceptionally good and very, very accurate. Super low recoil. If you're not as good at controlling your recoil, like I said with the AK, try out the Krig 6, guys. Absolutely nutty weapon. Definitely worth trying out. And a ton of fun as well. Something very, very different to what we usually see. Now, obviously, the king of long range is the snipers, but I'm going to show you guys the Kar 98, which technically is a tactical rifle from Modern Warfare, but basically we all know it's a sniper by now. One of the best guns in Warzone is this weapon here, so we want to run all of the top line is the best way to remember it. It's the monolithic suppressor, Singard custom 27.6-inch barrel, tac laser, sniper scope, and F-tac sports combat stock. Now, you can swap out the sniper scope to a variable zoom scope if you want to. However, I just prefer the sniper scope on this one, as it does run a lot better with the class. Very, very quick ADS, very good damage. If you hit an upper body, you're hitting full crack, full blue every time. If you're hitting very upper body or above, it's a one-shot kill, and obviously headshots are a one-shot down every single time, which is really, really nice. This gun is absolutely nutty. Pairing this with the Farah, maybe even the AK, definitely the LC-10, the MAC-10, the FFAR, pretty much any of the meta weapons at the moment, like the closer range ones, this gun performs super, super well. Crack people with this, switch to the other guns, finish off the down, finish off the kill, whatever it is, you're going to be getting a ton of kills and a ton of damage with this weapon. Very, very nice build, and probably I would say one of the best sniper builds in Warzone at the moment. So hopefully this guide has cleared up a few myths for you guys about what the current long range meta is. These are like the 4 to 5 best weapons you can be using at long range. As I said, the CR AMAX does slightly take that with the damage, so if you're going for a super sweaty gameplay, you're going to want to whack that class on. But if you wanted to just try out a few different things, they are pretty much just as good, just like a millisecond slower TTK. You're going to want to rock the Krig 6 or the AK, and obviously the sniper here as well. You can do a long-range Farah build as well, which is actually seeing quite a bit of gameplay at the moment, but the real tactics of the Farah is the movement strafing speed whilst you're shooting, which actually means that the close-range gunfights are much better with this one, and that is why it's so good at close range, guys. It's the strafe speed. So I've seen a lot of comments debating on why this is so good. The TTK competes with every other gun, basically, so it makes it on par, but then the strafe speed, you're able to move around whilst you're getting that kill, which is what's really, really good. So I would stick to that close range. Use one of the guns I've put here today for long range. You're going to be doing absolute bits with it, and basically you're going to be shredding up your opponents. Make sure you drop a like on this video if it has helped you out, as I would much, much appreciate that. If you are new to the channel and you would like to find your way back, because we're covering tons and tons of Season 3 content, like I said at the start, make sure you drop in that subscribe down below. Make sure you turn the notification bells on. That way you won't miss out on any uploads that I do put onto the channel. Other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. Take care and peace.